Today, we're going to take a look at the AMD 7900 XT running Delta Force in 4K and 1440p. We'll be testing every graphics setting with both native resolution and FSR quality. For specs, our test PC is using a Ryzen 9800X3D, 64GB of DDR5 RAM, and a 2TB SN850X NVMe SSD. We'll start our test looking at 4K results, starting with the Ultimate preset. You can see the current settings and results in the top right corner, and I'll make some comments throughout the video. I have all the AMD Adrenalin settings set to default too, so this is all just raw GPU performance. I play at 4K all the time, but playing with the Ultimate preset is just not for me. I'd have to really take it slow to even care to notice the differences between 4K Ultimate and something like 4K High, which performs a lot better. The performance with the Extreme preset is very similar to the performance with the Ultimate preset, but I wouldn't use either of these. I'd prefer something like Ultra or High. But if you are interested in nicer graphics, this is still very playable. I plan to test some other popular games in this format, so let me know what you want to see next. Using the Ultra preset is probably my favorite way to play, and I don't mind using FSR too much, but I do know a lot of people don't like it, so that's the main reason I wanted to test both native and FSR in this video. With the Ultra preset and FSR quality, we get 112 FPS, which is the sweet spot for me between performance and graphics. And moving to the High preset, we get 82 FPS at native resolution and 120 with FSR quality. We don't see a massive jump between Ultra and High at 4K, but at 1440p, the increase is a lot more. And with the Medium preset, we're finally in the hundreds, with 121 at native resolution and 146 with FSR quality. And then with the Low preset, we don't really see much of a boost at all. In fact, with FSR quality, we actually got a worse result than with medium FSR quality. It's probably due to the variation in maps, but I think I've seen before where with some resolutions or games, FSR actually is a worse result at certain resolutions. And now moving to 1440p, we get a weird result with FSR again, with 157 FPS average at native resolution and 151 with FSR. I can only guess this is caused by the extra overhead that comes with upscaling in general, so stick with native here. Going one step down to the Extreme preset, we see 165 FPS, which is a pitiful 5% increase to our average with the Ultimate preset. FSR gets a much better boost though, with a 30% increase up to 198. With the Ultra preset at 1440p, we see another small bump up to 172 FPS with native resolution and 213 with FSR quality. This GPU could almost run this game at 1440p, 240Hz, which is very popular among competitive gamers. Here with the High graphics preset, we get 196 FPS at native resolution and 248 with FSR quality. And with FSR, I can finally see the FPS breaking 300 sometimes. I think the High preset is a sweet spot for 1440p here. With Medium, we get a 210 FPS average at native resolution and 245 with FSR quality. This is the first result where we break 200 with native resolution, so this might be worth it for some gamers. And finally, with the Low preset, we get another weird result with 206 FPS at native resolution and 252 with FSR quality. It's crazy that Low would perform worse than Medium. It's most likely my benchmark methodology, but in the next section, I'll give a summary of FPS results and my own advice for what's best. So the 7900 XT is a pretty great pick for this game at 1440p or 4K. Obviously, we see FPS tends to improve as you lower your graphics preset, but the odd results indicate some kind of overhead issue. I'd have to test further to see, but from the results today, I'd suggest using Ultra FSR quality at 4K, but Medium would be a better pick if you aren't a fan of FSR 3. At 1440p, you'd honestly be great at any preset, but to avoid any overhead issues and maximize the value you'd get, I'd use the High preset at native resolution. At the end of the day though, it's individual preference, so what would you prefer? And check out this video where we tested 12 more popular and recent games on the 7900 XT.